It's time to learn a tasty new game as we dive into the ooey gooey goodness of S'mores Galore. S'mores Galore is a game for 2 to 4 players lasting approximately 30 minutes and is recommended for ages 8 and up. It's designed by Daniel Rocchi with artwork from Kristian Fosh. The publisher is Mighty Acorn Games, who helped to sponsor this video. If you already have the game set up, go ahead and check out the description of this video for the timestamps so that you can skip ahead to the tutorial portion of the video. Otherwise, grab yourself a pointy stick and let's go roast us some rules. The goal of S'mores Galore is to score the most points by building the best collection of campfire treats. We'll be collecting the key ingredients of graham crackers, marshmallows, and chocolate to assemble our delicious recipes, and earn points for each treat we toast to perfection. To set up the game, each player first receives one graham cracker card. The remaining ingredients are shuffled and used to create a grid of goodies made up of 3 rows of cards, 2 rows on top, 4 in the middle, and another 2 beneath. 2 discard piles are also created starting with 1 card each. It's important to note that these piles can never have matching ingredients. So if those first cards match, we'll want to redraw until each discard pile is unique. Our final setup step is to assemble our stacks of recipe cards. We'll need 2 straight up s'mores cards for each player at the table, which are gathered into a face-up pile. Next, we'll be shuffling the advanced s'mores recipes, and we'll draw 3 of these cards for each player in the game. Each player count requires a slightly different setup of recipe stacks. If we're playing with 2 players, we'll use these cards to create 2 piles of 3 cards each. For a 3-player game, we'll have 3 piles of 3 cards, and if the full complement of 4 players is at our tabletop campsite, we'll be creating 3 piles of 4 cards. All remaining recipe cards will be returned to the box and will not be used in this game. Don't worry, Hot Mess, your time will come. Ask your fellow players who last cooked over an open fire and give them this wooden arrow token to signify them as the starting player. And with that, we're all set up and ready to play S'mores Galore. The player with that wooden arrow takes the first turn, and each turn involves taking the following 3 steps in order. Step 1, move the arrow. Step 2, collect and place ingredients. And step 3, take up to 2 actions, which we'll explain in detail in just a moment. When we move the arrow, it can be placed along any outer edge of the grid. It cannot stay in the same spot 2 turns in a row, but it can point to the same row or column just from the opposite direction. After we move the arrow, it's time to collect and place ingredients. Starting from the first card the arrow is pointing at, we're going to pick up each card in that row or column one at a time and place them to the right of your personal line of ingredients. If there's an ingredient you don't want, it can be flipped over and turned into a stick. Sticks are not ingredients, and once all chosen ingredients have been taken from the grid, any sticks will be placed on top of the campfire card. After the cards from the grid have been replaced, it's time to take up to 2 actions. For those actions, we have 4 possible options: burn, churn, return, or score a s'more. If you have some ingredients on the left side of your line that aren't working for your plans, take the burn action to send any number of cards on the left into the discard pile. Perhaps you're in need of some rearranging. If that's the case, take the churn action to swap 2 adjacent cards in your lineup. If there's a card on top of one of the 2 discard piles that's calling your name, the return action might be for you. Return 2 matching ingredients from your line, placing them into one of the discard piles. Then, take the top card from one of those 2 discard piles and add it to the end of your line. And yes, you can take one of the cards that you just discarded. Lastly, we have the important option to score a s'more, which is how we get most of our points in the game. If you have the correct ingredients in your lineup organized from left to right, you can claim one of the available recipe cards. Discard the matching cards from your lineup, collect the recipe, and rejoice in the scrumptious points that you have just earned. After scoring a s'more, if there are any sticks on the campfire card, collect those and add them to your pile of completed recipe cards. Sticks are worth 1 point each at the end of the game. Games of S'mores Galore come to an end when 2 of the recipe card piles have been emptied. When this happens, each other player gets 1 final turn to collect and toast their treats, and then we proceed to scoring. Each player will calculate their scores based on the following: points printed on their recipe cards, 1 point per stick collected, and 1 point for every 5 cards remaining in their lineup, to a maximum of 2 points. Total up those tasty points, and whoever has the most will be the winner of the game. And in a chocolatey, marshmallowy nutshell, that's how to play S'mores Galore. If you plan ahead, flip the right sticks at just the right time, and avoid making too many hot messes, you might wind up the campfire champion at your table. For younger players, experienced gamers, and everyone in between, there's going to be some sweet fun to be had with S'mores Galore. Visit the links in the description of this video to learn more about where to find this accessible game of toasty fun. If you have any questions about the game or this tutorial video, make sure to leave a comment down below, and we'll respond quicker than the chocolate melts on a campfire stick. Thank you to Mighty Acorn Games for sponsoring this video, and thank all of you for watching. We'll be back again soon, and until next time, whether you've got little players or big players, make sure that you keep playing games that make your thumbs go way up. Bye for now.